Hello, this is John with Brainstorm Comics and Gaming, and I'm here with the Cupid of Comics, Chris Lowe.
Every time. I feel like I always expect it, and it's never what I expect. And
I know I went without a love pun this time.
No, it's fine. There was
I guess it was
an
pun.
implied love pun. Yeah,
but I didn't go with the exact play on love.
Cool. That's fine.
A little bit different.
I accept it.
Okay.
I am.
They told me to save that one until Valentine's Day, but
I am short in stature. I guess I'm chubby. I don't particularly think I'm cute, and I probably look terrible in a diaper. So,
alrighty. So we'll move on to. We're going to talk about several topics. I'm sure that I'll make up another one along the way.
That's fine because I have no idea what we're talking about.
You don't know
today.
any of them.
I don't even know what we're talking about today. I just showed up.
We've discussed several of them in passing, but one we're going to talk about Diamond's issues that continue to pile up over the last year and a half. We're going to talk about Todd McFarlane exercising his entrepreneurial rights in several different, in two different things.
Doing the Todd Father stuff.
We're going to talk about Best Wednesday Ever, as we do on a regular.
A tough Best Wednesday Ever.
What? We'll see about that.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about how many covers are too many.
Okay.
So let's start with...
I feel like you just pick topics. You're like, let's just let Chris go off on camera. Just all of the stuff he hates, we're just going to let him go off.
So I don't know whether you saw it or not, but the Hulk relaunch is going to have... How many covers do you think Hulk...
Oh, I don't even... I mean, I know how many variants came out for the last issue of Immortal Hulk, and it was ridiculous. So I can't
how many
imagine.
do you think Hulk #1 is?
There's going to be at least 30. 50?
41.
41? That's insane.
41 different covers.
Like store exclusive, artist exclusive.
I have to hope that includes
just them running 40 different covers.
I have to hope that includes store exclusives as well as. So, what are your thoughts on 41 different covers for Hulk #1, written by Donny Cates, drawn by Ryan Ottley?
Well, good luck to whoever's chasing all 40 of those covers first. I mean, no one's even read the book yet. Like, you don't even know if it's good or not.
Yeah. People are just assuming because it's written by Donny Cates.
I mean, you know what? Like, we've had our opinions on Mr. Cates, and he's written some really good stuff, and he's written some really poopy stuff, like, I think along with everybody. But to just because he's on a book.
He swears you're going to see the best Thor Hulk fight you've ever seen next year in 2022.
That's cool. Rad.
So I agree with you.
I mean, I'm here for it. I want to see a Thor Hulk fight, but 40 covers?
Well, apparently there's going to be a lot of blood and stuff in that. Apparently it's going to get very, very violent. But...
I mean, crossed is a thing. I don't think you're going to get much more violent than that.
So 41 covers, I agree with you, is too much. And honestly...
30 too much.
There's a... say more than that, but...
35 too much?
The thing is... There's a lot of store exclusives, and there's still a lot of people that are chasing those store exclusives. And I feel bad for those that do, because you normally see like an initial hype for one of the cool covers, and then over time it generally begins to wane. And I know you're on those comic book groups, and there's always like those couple of rah-rah guys about the store exclusives. Like, no, don't you remember that one back in...
I mean... If it's done with, some grace, maybe, I think it's cool.
Well, here's the thing. If you want it for your PC, that's fine by me. But if you're investing in it for future value, I think the store exclusives are terrible. And the reason I say that is the one that the casual collector is going to recognize.
I think anybody who is speccing super hard on modern
store exclusives
and modern variants that aren't high number... whatever ratio variants, you're gonna lose out in the long run. That's my opinion. There's just too many made. There's too many different variants. You're not. I see a lot in with these online sellers and these buy it now auctions. A lot of that stuff is modern variant books, and I just don't see them holding value over time.
I still think the only people making money on it are DC, Marvel, and Comic Tom, but because he does well with his mystery boxes. And maybe there's other stores that do the mystery boxes included in it.
I mean, there are other people that do mystery boxes, and to not take anything away, Comic Tom's box is pretty decent. I'm not gonna knock anything on that. I don't mind Tom. I think he's very good at throwing out weird percentage numbers and being excited about things but that's his job. It's his job.
Well, what I mean is those comic boxes earn him a decent amount of money.
Sure.
And like I said, I'm sure that there's other big stores that do those boxes also.
Totally. But all of these people like slabbing and doing all this wild stuff with these modern variants, like I think in the long run you're going to lose. I don't think it's a very safe bet. And like, again, we talked about it last week, like this happened before, happened in the 90s, didn't end well.
No.
It was pretty bad for a long time.
Well, I think the store exclusives, again, I think it's a small majority of people or small minority of people chasing them. I don't think it's I don't think it's the vast majority of the market. I think it's a niche.
But also what makes something...
No, I do say I take it back because I think some of the artists are also making money off of it. Because obviously J. Scott Campbell's making money off of it. Gleason's making money. I mean,
they're getting paid. The artists are getting paid, so it's good on that end. But when you look at what is collectible in this thing that we call comic books, rarity, scarcity,
first appearances,
keys. If you have a book, if you make a book that has 41 different variants and you're making 400,000 of the first print run, you know they're going to do a second, probably third printing of it. So you have this huge saturation. There's no longer exclusivity. There's no longer rarity.
And there's also not... So, again, this is why I think that people should go after the A and maybe the B and maybe like the lower tier ratios.
Sure.
Because those are the ones that people recognize. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that people identify with that first appearance or with...
And most of the books that you look at, modern books that get hot and carry that hotness like Something is Killing the Children, the A cover for that is like a $750 book. The B cover is a $100 book. Yeah. The variants are, with the exception of like the Virgins and the higher ratios. Yeah, the one per store stuff. But it's, it's kind of been proven over and over again. Your A cover is probably going to be what's worth the money.
Unless the B cover has the picture of the character, the first.
Right. I mean, there are always going to be. Yeah, sure. And there's always going to be like that Rose Pesh Wonder Woman, I think, shot up double over a week.
You see it's 200 now?
Totally. So there are exceptions to that rule, but 41 different covers.
That's a lot.
I mean, the print run on that is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. So once again, you have a House of Slaughter situation where...
Is any of it going to really be worth...
With the exception of your high ratio books, I don't think they're going to be.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
Well, hopefully it's a good read, and that is...
I want it to be a good book. I think it'll be great. I'm down for a Thor-Hulk fight. I'm super down for it.
Like I said, he's hyping it already, and I get scared whenever Donny Cates starts hyping things 6 to 12 months before it. Yeah. But that's me. He's a hype machine. I share
that anxiety.
He's a hype machine.
He's a hype machine. He likes to talk. He likes to be loud and boisterous. That's his thing. It's fine.
It got him his job at Marvel. So.
Sure. I just hope he backs it up.
Hopefully. So we'll turn the page on that one. I think we're both in agreement. Let us know what you think about the variant covers. Do you think there's enough of them? Do you think there's too many? Do you think there's not enough? I think I have a pretty good idea where
That's a rough one, man. 41 covers.
41. But let's turn the page to the next topic. We'll go on to one of your favorite creators in comics, Todd McFarlane. We'll start with the first one. He is expanding his studio into television production, not just movie production. Thumbs is one of the first ones that is going to be developed along with
Twitch.
Sam and Twitch. Oh, did you see the third one?
I did not see the third one.
McFarlane, which is like I think they said a stop motion sort of thing, kind of. I heard it was like a whole bunch of different shows. Twin Peaks meets something else. It was like a whole thing, and wow. It very much sounded like a Todd McFarlane.
Sure. There's probably a lot of like hand motions. You know what I mean? No, that's cool. Go ahead. I mean, he's done stuff like that before on his own. I mean, he wrote and had a huge hand in the original Spawn movie. Mm-hmm. He did with the animated thing. Like when he does something, like he does it. He doesn't farm it out. Like
I think he has a time machine that allows him to stop time and get more production out of it.
And he's talked about it in multiple interviews that like
because he's very hands-on.
He is super hands-on. Like he talked about. I know there was one where he was talking about the McFarlane toy line and how he got into it. He just kind of wung it. He like did a mock-up for these characters and.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but he was courted by Mattel and Hasbro, and he's like, "Oh, cool! Show me your facilities." Oh, so that's how you do that.
Yeah,
huh?
He said he sold like 1 million units to like Toys R Us or something like that. And they were like, "Cool, we need shipment in like 6 months." And he was like, "I don't even have these things made. Like, I don't know." So he figured it out. Like that's his deal. So I think he'll be successful with it. I would like to see more Wild Spawn stuff. Sure.
I think it'll be very interesting. Thumbs was an interesting choice since that's not a real high tier past image title to go with. He has plenty of his own stuff to go with also.
I think Sam and Twitch now is probably a weird one too.
Yeah.
There's probably not a lot of people who...
I
might be wrong, but...
I figured he would have gone with Hellspawn because it's more...
Or even Gunslinger?
Curse of the Spawn. I think he would. I thought he would have gone with one of his horror... like more horror-oriented ones, but... do you think it'll be successful?
I mean, I think anything that guy does is successful. I think you put McFarlane's name on something and have it relatively revolve around Spawn, people are going to purchase it, buy it, watch it.
His name still has a lot of credence within the industry.
Sure it does.
So I agree with you. I think it'll do pretty well. We'll see how Thumbs turns out. I don't even remember the book honestly. So
I don't either. I don't even remember Sam and Twitch that much. Honestly.
Oh, I love Sam and Twitch.
Sam and Twitch was cool. They had there was like a mini for a while, right? There was a
it was
small
like a 20-parter. Brian Michael Bendis had written it. I think that ended when he signed with Marvel exclusive. I think
makes sense.
It was around that time period. I think
makes sense.
Well, that's what I think I've mentioned it before. That's one of the things that I keep laughing at is McFarlane's like, first Spawn book in 30 years. I'm like, okay, sure. But I don't know. So I agree with you, though. But we'll see how it turns out. We'll turn the page on that one and go right into another Todd McFarlane topic, though.
Gosh.
He is not only launching a television studio production company, he's also going into NFTs. He's teaming with I forget the person's
Steve Aoki, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And
you have no idea who that is, do you?
I know he's somebody with music, and I know he did that comic book last year or the year before, and people were interested in the first issue, and then they were like, this is terrible.
He did do. He is a DJ, producer, electronic, like house kind of music.
Yeah.
He's a pretty big name. Some people like him, some people don't.
I was going to say, he seems pretty polarizing from what people have.
I think he leans towards more like the bigger commercial side of that genre of music, and that upsets people.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm not a huge fan of his music. I know who he is.
So apparently they want to represent comic book artists. They want to represent musicians and, as you stated earlier today when we were talking about this, just regular artists as well, like non-comic book artists.
You're still not going to convince me that owning a digital thing that you can just right-click and save off the internet is, I don't know. I don't get the whole non-fungible token thing.
So apparently he's going to do some original art for the NFTs, though. And cool. He has a ton of fans who... Now, I think the interesting thing is, are people going to want to buy that original piece that he actually drew? Because he's not a digital artist. Like, he still does pencil and ink.
Todd?
Yeah.
He does digital.
Does he?
He used to do those daily draws.
Oh, okay.
That dude has a drawing pad that's like the size of a table. It's insane.
When did he go digital?
I don't know. This was a while ago when he was doing those daily draws.
Okay.
Yeah, he was totally on like a Corel Draw program.
All right. I don't know. His stuff still looks like
He might still do like pen and pencil paper stuff,
so
but I know for a long time he was doing those like it was like a daily. People would be like, draw Batman, and he would draw like a Batman face and talk Todd Father stuff.
Do you think that he'll do it strictly digital then? That he won't do like a... Because I was going to say it would be interesting to see which one would draw more money, like an original pen and ink or the...
I mean, personally, for me, if I have the choice of a file that is an original piece of art and a piece of actual art,
tactile
ink on a paper, I would much rather have that than... But that's me.
So you already said that you thought his television studio would be successful. I assume that you think this one will.
I mean,
do well
I
for
think
him as
there
well.
is a market for NFTs. I think that there is a amount of people that are going to purchase them.
So I was notified that I was out of frame. So we have repositioned the camera. Not myself because I don't move, but so my what I was going to say was I think he will make money off of it regardless because
totally.
I think they will build up a talent pool large enough that somebody will buy the company.
And I think coming at it from that like point of view of like the image kind of artists doing stuff like that, I think that given the avenue and having that as an option for artists, I think you're going to see artists making those things.
Yeah, it seems like they want to follow the image philosophy of like ensuring that more money goes to the artist versus. I think he probably did it in response to DC being like, "Hey, artists, you can't."
Which was super dirty on DC's part. I feel like.
I agree.
You know, if
I love DC, but I think they
sure,
were.
If an artist is making their own art not specific to the book they're working on or whatever, and they want to sell it, then why?
Well, the question is, why would you be okay with it for them doing a pencil and ink one and selling it at conventions? But
right. And then saying they can't do it, and then turning around and selling that art under the DC, DC selling it and getting the money for it, like that's shady. That was super shady on DC's part.
Yeah, I know you were not a fan of that.
Nah,
like I said, I wasn't
a big
really
fan of the NFTs in general. I understand it, I guess.
I don't.
I mean, I can wrap my head around the concept of it. I don't see what's so great about it, but
all right, so we'll turn the page on that one. We've talked about NFTs probably 1,000 times already this year, and probably there's still a month and a half left of us doing videos. So perhaps we'll get like 10 more videos out of it.
Someone should go back through and talk about and count how many times we've talked about NFTs.
Yes,
like it's like a challenge.
So we'll turn the page. We'll do our pause right here because I forgot to do it in the front. Don't forget to LCS, like, comment, and subscribe to your local comic book shop, Brainstorm Comics and Gaming YouTube channel. What's that?
It's not like we haven't been doing this for months.
You know. We make it real by not having it all scripted and
we make it real by messing up all the time. That's fine.
Potato.
It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Just run with it.
That's what I'm doing.
That's fine, yeah.
And if you like the videos and you want to support the store, be sure to stop by either one of our stores. We have one in downtown Frederick, Maryland. We have one in Walkersville, Maryland. If you are looking for a day trip, we would recommend going to the Frederick location. Lots of cool stuff to do downtown. If you are looking for back issues or to play a game or two, I would recommend the Walkersville location, as we have a gaming room with tables, and we also have.
If you want to talk about NFTs,
100,000 back issues in the bins, and
so many back issues.
If you start a subscription, you can save 20% off of new comics, 20% off on graphic novels, 20% off on back issues, 10% off on graded books, and 10% off on board games, and that's good for either location. That's
to my knowledge, there isn't another shop in the Maryland, D.C. area that does
20% off.
20%. Yeah, so
with only a single title on your
title.
Where of that high threshold.
High threshold.
Now, if you have certain books on your list like Independence, you may have been out of luck this week, though, because Diamond had an issue. Apparently, they were the victim of a ransomware attack because, when you think of who am I going to hold ransom for money, you go, that comic book distributor company has all the money.
Like, as soon as I found out about it, I just, like, in my head, it was that meme, you know what I mean? From the, like, I am the captain now. Like, it was like, that's Diamond right now. Like, somebody just pirated the ship.
So they were being held ransom, and it delayed the independent books.
It's hilarious to
by
me.
48 hours, where you can finally pick them up. Well, by the time you watch this, we'll have already picked them up and had them up. But 48 hours is how long it was delayed, and I will be going to go pick them up tomorrow. My second trip to Baltimore this week.
It means extra work.
Yes.
For everyone involved.
Good times.
Good times.
Your opinion? I know you already said, like, you think it's, like, weird that
I mean, part of me thinks it's hilarious that someone, like, hacked and held Diamond Distribution for ransom.
They are having a great 18 months. They
Yeah.
lost DC.
Yep.
They lost Marvel.
Yep.
Now this.
Now they're just being pirated. Terrible, terrible pirates. I mean, I know you were way more bummed out about it than I was because,
it affects my business.
It hurts your bottom line. It was inconvenient for me because
great stuff coming out this week.
There was some really good stuff. I was really looking forward to some indie books. Not that Marvel and DC.
Chicken Devil comes out this week.
I was so looking forward to Chicken Devil #2. The Furthest Place from Here, I think, is another one that I was super into. There was
My Date with Monsters.
My Date with Monsters. There was some good indie stuff this week. I mean, it sucks that that happened in general. Their explanation, I guess, if you want to call it that.
3 hubs were affected.
3 hubs.
Boston, Dallas, and Baltimore.
It was a little lackluster. Their explanation was a little hey, this happened, sorry. Instead of being yo, this terrible thing happened and we're trying to work through it. It was just yo, we ain't got your stuff because someone's kind of holding it for ransom. Too bad.
Yeah, it sounds like they were affecting their whole system and they couldn't get into certain aspects of it that had sort of the shipments and stuff. I don't understand. I would have assumed that this stuff was shipped last week. So
you would think?
I don't know.
You would think?
I was very frustrated.
I mean, I know there are definitely shipping delays going down. There's a lot of stuff happening right now in that kind of level of the world.
Well, apparently they said it could affect shipments even next week and the week after, so we'll see.
Well, I mean, if they're doing it, weekly, week of now, then, yeah. It's kind of scary.
And this is why you shouldn't trust computers. We should just do it all by hand.
Skynet is real.
Some people were shocked that they didn't have a better security system than what they have, and I'm like, I don't think that they really
in all honesty, unless you're in their system and you're doing IT for them, or you don't know what kind of level of firewall or protection they have. You know what I mean? I think if somebody wants into your stuff, they're gonna get into your stuff. It's just kind of funny to me that they of all the stuff to hack and hold for ransom in the internet world, you know what I mean? We're gonna Johnny Mnemonic the diamond. That's kind of weird to me. It's Penguin Random House or Luna or somebody we'll show them.
Yeah.
Hack the planet.
They should have done it to Tom King. So sorry.
Anyway. Stop. Did you read Human Target?
I try not to read anything.
You didn't read Human Target?
No.
It was excellent. Stop.
Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed it. He's dead to me.
No, you need to put it out there why you hate him so much. Because you can't just say, F that dude, and continually say, F that dude, and not give us an explanation. I know.
So we were talking about this earlier today, me and somebody else. And the main one is the Wally West.
Show me on this doll where he hurt Wally. And why you hate him so much?
Wally West acted so out of character in Heroes in Crisis. It really irked me.
So he wrote one story that you didn't like, and now it's just F Tom King forever.
He also destroyed Mr. Terrific in the Adam Strange storyline, and that kind of irked me.
Really? That's
I like JSA with Mr. Terrific. I love that character. But anyway, I won't go fully down that road. So. I understand why some people enjoy him. I wish he would get a therapist instead of write comic books, but he seems to have a lot of things in his life, and he should probably get them settled. So, why are you shaking your head?
I don't know. I'm just.
There's other things I won't get into because
Human Target was a great book. That's all I'm going to say. I think everybody should read Human Target. It was
Tell them why
perfect.
they should read. Tell them why they should read.
Spot on what it should have been. It was slick. It was drawn amazingly. The story so far was super duper good. It's everything that book should be.
Cool.
Greg Smallwood is an amazing artist.
I like Greg Smallwood. I'm not going to read it. I really don't like Tom. Again, if other people like him, that's fine. He's just not for me. What?
That's cool. I'm gonna use one of your lines that you use on me all the time. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Anyway.
It's cool. It's fine.
So, what was even the topic? Oh, the diamond stuff.
You brought it up. You brought it up.
I was doing a throwaway line, and you had me go all the way
I
down.
mean, it's just you. Every chance you get,
Throw a jab.
Just,
Fine. Maybe they should hold Rob Liefeld's art for ransomware. Like
maybe that's why he hasn't drawn feet in 15 years. I'm sorry, Rob Liefeld's a very nice man.
Is he?
He seems like a very nice guy. I haven't met him in person, but he seems like a very nice fellow.
He had that Twitter blow up.
Everybody has a Twitter blow up, man.
All right,
Rob Liefeld didn't do anything to
we're going
Wally
down
West.
rabbit holes.
We are. That's fine. I'm all for rabbit holes, man.
We'll turn the page on this guy. And we'll move on to the next one. I didn't mention at the top of it. I knew I was going to come up with another one. Turn the page.
Well, that's cool. We're turning it.
So the next topic is not one that I mentioned in the opening. Phillip Kennedy Johnson has promised, cross his heart and hope to die, that there is not an underhanded corporate campaign to get rid of Superman. He promises that is not the end game. I know you're going to be like a Superman. Okay.
No, actually, this kind of like segues into a topic that I heard like something that I heard the other day that I was going to bring up to you that was actually super wild to me. But go ahead, continue.
Do you believe him that they are not trying to replace Superman? Do you think that
like replace
with Jonathan?
I don't see that happening. I don't think that's no. I don't think that's a thing.
You think all the older fans are getting nervous for no reason?
You Superman fans.
I told you. The only one that I have a problem with is the slogan thing. If Jonathan is whatever, I don't care.
That's the hill
and
you're
I like
die on.
and I like Jonathan.
That's
Jonathan,
the hill you're gonna die on.
I like it bothers me.
It's fine. We all have a hill. We all have a hill to die on, and that's yours apparently. Tom King's up there.
So you said you read another article.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where I can't cite it. It might have been on something internet related. I don't remember. Somebody was saying that the people on the DC on Kal-El were getting death threats after all this happened.
See, that's too far. And all right, I'll let you finish. Sorry.
It was kind of that's the extent of it. I didn't really get a chance to look into it even more. But like,
so I've talked about this before. In the 90s, when Kyle Rayner replaced Hal Jordan, these idiots formed this whole group called HEAT, the Hal Emerald, blah, 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 advancement team or something like that. And they sent freaking Ron Mars, like, literal letters, like, telling him, like, you destroyed my character, I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, you all are jerks. Like... Worse than that, like you should be arrested and
yeah. Apparently they had like party foul. Apparently they had like police at like the headquarters and had to have like people sit outside their houses, which is ridiculous. It's super duper ridiculous. I don't know. I've actually heard it just in work people talking about that, and it's funny how many people will like chime in and have an opinion about it who have never read a comic book. They just, and the headline is always Superman is bisexual now. It's not
the son of Superman.
The son of Superman in a completely different new title. New character is bisexual.
Because that doesn't get people to click on it.
It doesn't, and it's that visceral reaction of Superman is Superman and we can't mess with him. And
not to get political, but this is my problem with both sides of the political spectrum. If you don't like something, just don't freaking read it.
Totally, 100%, 100%. How many times have we killed Peter Parker now? And we've done awful, awful, terrible things to Peter Parker.
If you don't like the television show, turn the channel.
Yep.
If you don't like what they're doing in the movie, don't watch the movie. Don't buy the DVD. Don't buy the Blu-ray.
You don't read his books. It's fine. I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Well, unfortunately, I do have to because I own a store. So.
No, but 100%, man. If you don't like something, if you don't agree with something, just move on, man. Well, you can have an opinion about it. I mean, we obviously have a lot of opinions about stuff.
So you and I have talked about this. I order books every single month that I'm not fond of the writer. Sure. I'm not fond of the artist. I'm not fond of the story. But I know that there are people out there that want to read it. And who am I to tell them, like, oh, well, you can't have that piece of entertainment because I don't like it?
There is a whole subgenre of people who buy comic books with, like, weird drawn naked jungle ladies on the cover. It's a whole section in the previews every month, and it's weird. But you know what? People buy it.
And some people are going to be like, oh, that's because you just care about the money. Like, no, like, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, I'm a business. I have to make. But if somebody gets enjoyment out of it, it doesn't affect me. Nobody's tying me down to a chair and like, read this, John.
Right. And it's for the amount of people that I've heard that have like these very like set in stone visceral opinions of that one headline, who don't read Superman books. They haven't. They're not supporting that character. They're not supporting anyone who's drawn and or written that character. They don't know what's going on in the continuity and the storyline. They just see Superman is now bisexual and they freak out.
Yeah. But like I said, I know the conservatives get a lot of the press regarding that, but it goes both ways as well. And
sure. And listen, man, you can be whatever political affiliation. You can be conservative or libertarian, liberal. You can be, I don't know, a fucking Marxist, dude. I don't know. But like at the end of the day, look, homosexuality exists. It's something that happens in this world. Bro, deal with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Deal with it.
But like I said, again, nobody's coming to your house and forcing you.
Exactly. No, yeah, there's not like, no one's knocking on your door like, bro, you got to read this book. Superman's bisexual and you got to read it now. Sorry.
So I did read Bleeding Cool had an I know Bleeding Cool gets bashed a lot, but Bleeding Cool had an interesting article talking about
1 in 10 with them.
Yeah.
I feel like Bleeding Cool, no offense, Bleeding Cool, but like y'all sometimes search for some content. I feel like.
Well, they do a lot of misleading headlines sometimes,
a lot of it is like a lot of it's clickbait, but every once in a while they hit the nail on the head. So
they did. Rich Johnson did a thing or did an article talking about how if you read Future State, Jonathan Kent's not a good guy in Future State. So
there isn't really much about Future State that's like good anyway.
Like he becomes kind of a totalitarian sort of dictator, and he's like, if that's their end game, like they're not trying to paint him as like, oh look, he's bisexual, so he's perfect, or like they're building a story, and this is just an aspect of that.
I mean, Kirkman literally made a exact copy mirror of Superman with Invincible, and everybody loved it and applauded him for it, and that dude was he was a turd. But like, you can accept that, but you can't accept a change to a Superman adjacent character. It's not Clark Kent, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's
still a blue suit with the S that means something that someone made up a long time ago that's not S related. Which was so wild to me anyway. But it's the same thing that happened when like Thor was a female, or when Miles Morales came out and started to gain traction. There were so many people that hated on Miles.
I understand the people who had a problem with Jane Foster assuming the name of Thor because that was his name. I think they would. Now, some people
gave it a chance and read it and saw how they did it and it fit into continuity. It made sense. It was a good story.
Well, I know some people argue that was a false argument on their part, that they were just using that as a shield against like not liking that was a female.
The thing is, when comic creators and the industry as a whole, when they change a character, they get flack. People freak out. They get death threats, apparently. People are like, well, you shouldn't change the characters. You should just make new ones. So they make new characters. And then they get shit on for making new They can't win. You really can't win. So if you don't change, if you don't do anything in continuity to make these stories interesting, they're not interesting anymore.
Like you said, though, I think a large part of those are either people that don't read comics at all, and they're being incited by different like news organizations or what have you, or they're the older fans who have read the comics for like 40 years and they want it to be the character they read in 1960 whatever, 70 something.
But in all honesty, how much is that character being bisexual going to change him?
Well, change doesn't zero because it's not him.
It's not like in the grand scheme of things. It's not a big deal. Just read the books. Just chill. Calm yourselves.
I don't know. Like I said, it ticked me off 30 years ago when they did it to Ron Mars, and it doesn't make me happy now. That like,
I mean, I think it's silly. I don't see what the big deal is.
The most interesting thing that ever happened to Green Lantern was Hal Jordan going crazy.
I will agree with that. I will take a small moment and agree with you, sir. I will agree with you.
But so you and I have talked about this also. DC has done a great job over its history of coming up with a new character for each generation and allowing it to kind of represent that era.
I think they've done really well with Batman and his evolution throughout.
Well, Green Lantern went from like Alan Scott to Hal Jordan to Kyle Rayner, then back to Hal Jordan, then
that upset you too. I know
it did. And they did the same thing with Flash with Jay Garrick to Barry to Wally to back to Barry, and then
man. I feel like you're a little triggered talking about this. You're just very.
Well, I feel like they went backwards there for 15 years.
But once again, you need to reinvent things. You need to change things. You need to change the status quo of some to make these things interesting. You can't tell the same story over and over and over again. It's just gonna get stale.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, by coming up with that next generation's character, the character that you loved is still the character that you loved. Like, and
you also can't give these characters all these complex human emotions and every other aspect of this existence of this character mimic life and the things that people go through and the feelings they have and this but leave that part of it out. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, I will say that I do feel like Son of Kal-El is kind of mirroring the Champions book from over at Marvel in terms of tackling more social issues and things like that. And I'll be honest with you, that doesn't appeal to me. I like more escapism in my comics,
Champions is definitely a book written to a certain audience, a certain age group, for sure.
And I'm not bashing it. Like I said, I mean,
Champions is actually kind of a decent read. It's very much geared towards younger kids. Yeah. But, you have to have...
You need to grow the market, and like I said, and again, that's why I think again, everybody's making mistakes on this. Like, I think that you should have more diversity of characters. I think you should have more diversity of political thought of the characters. I think you should have more diversity of like different stances and stuff. Now, obviously, not like extremisms. Like, oh, that's okay. Like,
I mean, we also forget that there are many issues that came out in the 60s, 50s, 40s. That depict Adolf Hitler on the cover of comics very blatantly. Yeah. I mean, normally someone's beating Hitler up, which is totally fine. Smack a Nazi, I'm all for it.
Well, you had the whole Hal Jordan and Ali traveling around. And
you got Superman fighting.
Them getting caught out for helping aliens, but not minorities on Earth. So.
Yeah. As comics were predominantly written by white men, they reflected their feelings for a long time. Now we have a more diverse pool of creators making these things, so let them create, let them do stuff. They're making good, exciting stories. Like, don't get hung up on this
minor
thing. Yeah.
Well, like I said, my thing is I just like more escapism than tackling like big.
I am with you. I like Superman type books. I don't like Superman, but I like superhero books. I don't want to read about post-apocalyptic worlds and ghosts all the time. Sometimes I just need to smash them up. Chicken Devil type book. Yeah, Chicken Devil is not like that. But yeah, I think people need to just calm down, man.
I agree. I think we've beaten this topic into the ground now. So we'll turn the page on this one, and we'll go to our favorite topic of the day: Best Wednesday ever. Who's having the best Wednesday ever, Chris, or do you want me to start off since you said you're having some problems?
Todd McFarlane's having the best Wednesday
ever. McFarlane is having the best Wednesday ever.
This Wednesday, Todd's having the best Wednesday ever.
He's starting 2 new endeavors, the NFT thing, the television studio. I agree with you. He's having the best life ever, I think.
Dude, does have a pretty good life, man. I will say that. He works hard.
He owns Barry Bonds' baseball home run balls. He owns Mark McGwire's home run balls. He owns Madonna's tour bra from whichever tour that was.
Money to do it.
Yeah, he's having the best life ever.
He's having a pretty good life.
Comic book readers were having the best Wednesday ever. Maybe Thursday because of the lateness of the books, but
you and I both made this exact same face at the exact same time.
What I was getting at with that though is that everybody's saying speculators run the market, but I'm saying like if you read comics, like this is I think a great era for.
I think speculators say speculators run the market. Yeah. I don't think that's necessarily the truth.
Yeah, I agree with that. But there's so many like Chicken Devil, like we were talking about.
Not that speculating is bad. I'm not talking to him about speculators.
Well, so we're talking about the good stuff, so I won't go. We'll talk about it again later. Like I said, Chicken Devil, My Date with Monsters, Robin and Batman.
Robin and Batman looks so good. I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Dustin Nguyen's art, beautiful.
Gosh, so good.
Jeff Lemire, always top tier talent. Venom with Ram V and Al Ewing.
Yeah. The Peach Momoko variant on that book, I bought it. I bought a Peach Momoko variant. It's actually really cool. It's probably one of her better, not so much her style. I have to eat my words on Peach Momoko.
I like the Thanos one she did this week.
I don't think I saw that one. Maybe I did.
She had like 6 covers out this week.
She did have a bunch of covers, yeah. The Venom cover was good, though.
Apparently Superman's having the best week ever, or best Wednesday ever, because Phillip Kennedy Johnson has promised that he will do everything he can to protect the character. So
Superman's not going anywhere. Y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to just calm down. Listen, it's comic books. Nobody stays.
Chris's wallet had the best Wednesday ever.
It was a nice light week. I was really relieved, honestly. After the past couple weeks, I was like, oh my God. Oh, so much. It was nice to not spend like triple digits on
only because
the
Indies.
Only because the Indies in it. Yeah, I'm gonna come back tomorrow and spend the other $60 or whatever. It's all right though.
Do you have any other best Wednesdays ever? Variant covers having the best Wednesday ever.
Are there? It wasn't really a variant.
I'm talking about the announcement of 41 variants for Hulk #1.
I think that's stretching a little bit.
If you're a variant cover lover, then that announcement makes you happy. Again, it's not about just what we like. It's about what everybody likes.
Man, I feel like if somebody like puts in the comments that they got all 41 of those variants, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna give them something. We'll do it. You like send me a picture of all of those variants. I'll give you something.
Like they have the Infinity Gauntlet variant.
Yeah,
covers.
totally. Yeah. No, well, I'll figure something out cool to give somebody. Yeah, totally. Like I feel like you need a prize for chasing down that many variants. Yeah.
Do you really need all 41 covers?
Do we need any of this?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, honestly, yeah. Thing getting his own book.
Getting a new girlfriend, apparently.
Getting a new girlfriend, which is weird.
I thought Alicia Masters was still around.
I mean, he's married? He's got like Skrulls as a kid now, like for kids. Like I don't want to. Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy on that one. But I worked today, so I didn't get a chance to read any of my books. So I guess we'll have to stay posted on that. But
I only read Fantastic Four for a short period when Mark Waid was writing it with Mike Waringo's art.
This recent run,
I know you love this run,
man. More people need to read it. It's so good, so good. Johnny Storm's in like a suit now because Dune did some stuff to him and can't touch anybody. His girlfriend went all weird and had to go back to her own planet. And now he's all lonely in the basement. That's bad. It's really good, and more people should be reading it.
Underrated.
Very underrated. Very underrated. It's a crime.
Apparently they have a stealth comic out digitally, the Fantastic Four. So
yeah.
People are saying that's really good also.
I don't read digital comics.
Well, you shouldn't. I agree.
No, hold on. Let's back this up before we get another Tom King situation here. You can read digital comics. Digital comics are all right. It's just not my cup of tea.
I'm joking. That's not true. I have a vested interest in this, so... I do. I'm not going to lie.
We understand.
Our back issue selection had the best Wednesday ever. Bagging and
I don't
boarding a
know.
bunch
You
of...
just got a collection that I spent 20 minutes flipping through while I was waiting on you today, and there's a lot of fire in there.
Yeah, a lot of stuff from the 80s and 90s, a lot of independent stuff. We'll be taking that to the Comic-Con here on November 21st. So we'll be there. We'll also be talking about our pressing on the...
Am I going to be there?
If you want to be there, you can be there.
I don't know.
I'll be working it. I'll be actually there this time unless somebody calls out again.
I had to do it by myself last time.
Yeah. No, Homer was there with you.
I mean, I love Homer, but Homer's not much of a conversationalist.
No.
We talked about Transformers for like 20 minutes and then didn't talk for like an hour. And it wasn't like one of those weird, like uncomfortable silences. Like he's totally a chill guy to be with, but like it was just very quiet. Homer's
a very quiet guy.
He's very stoic.
Yeah.
Hi, Homer.
I used to be like that.
No, you didn't.
No, you don't know me.
Bro, there is not a time in your life where you were like a quiet, stoic individual.
That is not true.
You gonna put money on it?
Yeah, I would.
How are we gonna, like, what are you gonna do? Call your dad or something? Like,
no, we'll get people who knew me in high school.
Okay, all right. Cool.
Sign off on it. Notarize it.
This has been an episode.
All right, so that's we'll turn the page on the best Wednesday ever, and we'll close out by reminding you to LCS, like, comment, subscribe to the Brainstorm Comics and Gaming, your local comic book shop, the YouTube channel. Also, don't forget we are now pressing comics.
Yep.
We have gotten several submissions to do that. We've gotten a bunch of
size X-Men 1. Ooh, that was a nice little stack the other day.
Tomb of Dracula 10.
Yeah. There was a nice little stack going down the other day.
Yeah, it was. Plus, I've been giving over some more stuff for them to press. First Gambit. Mm-hmm. Malibu Sun 13. Oh, actually, we're going to add one more topic because that's how we how we do this. Comic book serendipity, the kind of thing where you talk about something and it just miraculously happens. One of my former employees, he came to me and he said his grail, like low key grail, was Gambit #1, the gold edition.
Like the gold foil cover from the 90s with like the pink blasts on it, that one?
Yeah, he said he had never seen it before.
Really? That's a great cover, though.
2 days later, a guy brought in a collection that had that one in it. He came into the store. I was like, hey, Luis, know how you were saying you never saw that gold one? I go, look here.
There's a Silver Surfer 1 in that box, that like, and not like Silver Surfer 1, it's the other Silver Surfer 1, like the crappy one, but I love that cover so much.
Yeah.
God, I want that book. I want like 50 copies of it. I love it.
And then, so Matt, who helps put up our shelves and stuff, he bought a Malibu Sun 13 at a flea market, and I called him up because I wasn't here when he had brought it in. I go, hey, can you bring that in? I've honestly never held one in my hands before. And like, I don't know. I'm weird. Like,
I mean, I feel like that's one that like flies way under the radar because it's not a comic. It's a preview. It's a preview. It's like a solicit. It's.
And I know it sounds weird. Like, I never.
For those of you that don't know, it's the first appearance of Spawn.
But it sounds weird because, like, you know, you're like, oh, you never held it before. You just wanted to bring it by so you could hold it. I'm like, I don't know. I get a kick out of selling something for the first time.
I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 12, and there's a lot of books that I've never like seen in person and or held in my hands like that. So I don't think that's that far out of the realm of possibility. Especially one with like Malibu Sun. Like that's kind of a weird one.
And then 3 weeks later, this guy brings it in a collection. And, like, do you have any comic book serendipity stories like that where you're like?
You know what? Actually, and I bought it off of you. I was talking with somebody, this was a few months back, about Spider-Man 2099.
Okay.
Because I guess there was some talk, there were some rumblings of...
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and then somebody was saying he wanted to play 2099. I can't remember. It was his name escapes me. So I was talking with somebody about Spider-Man 2099, and they were like, yo, he's kind of like, this is weird. I've never heard of this. And I was like, yo, Spider-Man 2099 is rad. That first issue was cool. It was like the super like 90s foil cover. And then I came in the next day and you had one. You just take one in a collection. I think I beat you up and took it from you. We haggled over price for a little while. But yeah, totally. That like, you know, you speak things into the world, they manifest. So now I have that.
Well, I think that's one of the coolest things about comic books is like if you talk about it, like it's out there, and people will help you get it. And
Totally.
as much as there is a lot of negativity in those Facebook comic book groups, there's also those cool moments when a guy goes, "Hey, I need this book," and people are like, "I got it."
Yep. Yep. And there are also there's a ton of moments of people who have genuine questions that aren't coming from like a meme place of being like, I don't understand this. Can someone help me with this or explain it to me? And there's a plethora of people who will jump on and be like, hey man, like shoot me a PM. I'll help you with this. Like there's a ton of people like that. So those people always are going to outweigh the toxic people in any community, I feel like.
It depends on what you want to focus on.
Totally.
One of the groups I was in revealed a website that I did not know about, comicbookgradingtool.com.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can type in the defects and it'll tell you what the grade of the book is. So all those people on eBay need to be told like, hey, you can't say you're not a professional grader anymore. Type it into the.
Yeah. Also, there's a few videos and a few creators who have made. I think we've talked about doing one, but making a kind of a quick reference guide or a quick reference video for people to grade kind of on the fly.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard. And I think it's intimidating for a lot of new people. There's a lot of jargon and things that get thrown out. So maybe that's something we should talk about in the future and do a little video. But
there are a lot of tools out there, more than when we started collecting. And, I think there's a lot more out there to help prevent you from being taken advantage of in terms of, because there are people out there who will take advantage of you.
Sure. And go into a store and ask somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Chances are they're going to.
I would say ask several stores. Like even I tell people all the time, don't just take my word for it. Go ask somebody else. Like,
what do you mean you tell people? You don't tell me that all the time.
Well,
you just tell me your opinion all the time.
Well,
and then tell me I'm wrong when our opinion differs.
So.
I do, yeah, it's true. I do. It's fine. No, but ask and always have fun. Have fun. Always have fun.
I honestly am a person that thinks that you should get multiple opinions on, like, if you're looking for like grades on books or prices on books or things like that. The guy who sold me the collection told me that he had taken it to other people and he liked that I explained things to him and wasn't just like,
you're a nice guy. That's why.
Wasn't just like, oh, you don't understand how this works. Oh, like,
how did he end up with all those books if he didn't understand how any of this worked?
No, he knew generally like the books that he had that were good and things like that. Okay. But he stopped collecting in like the mid '90s. It seemed like because
I feel like that Malibu Sun is a book that like you don't come. It's not one that comes across in many collections. Like people who seek that book out. Seek it out.
But it seemed like he stopped collecting like at the mid '90s. So the grading aspect of it, that's the grading of books and things like that. Sure. So like one of the books he looked up, he was like, "This is a $2,000 book," and I was like, "Can you show me where you got that information?" And he pulled up eBay and he goes, "See," and I go, "Well, that's a 9.8, and this is not a 9.8." And I explained it to him versus like just like, "Oh, well, you don't know what you're, like." It doesn't make anybody feel good if you just laugh at them or
and you're not going to get anywhere in the hobby by being a jerk to other people. I mean, there are far more of us out there that want to support and nurture new people in this hobby, and new people collecting and enjoying what we enjoy.
I will say that's one of the things that irks me on those comic book groups is they're like, oh, don't ever take it to a comic book dealer. All they're going to do is screw you over. And don't get me wrong, there are comic book shops that do that.
Those are the same guys that are like, I'll give you $15 for that book, or spamming PMs to people. That's.
But that's why I always tell people get multiple offers. Like, if my offer isn't the best, cool, go with the best one.
And also realize that you are a retail location, that like you have to invest money in that. You have rent to pay, you have overhead, you have to make money off of that book. So,
exactly.
Realize when you're going to sell something, just because the number that you have is technically what it's worth, it's worth that probably, sure, but you have to make money off of it. So if you're going to sell it to somebody who isn't just a private collector, if you're going to go to sell it to a store, they have to make money off of it.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times they have to rebag and board, they have to price it, they have to organize it. I will say this was a nice collection that was already organized.
So I mean, what I've flipped through of it is actually pretty nice, yeah.
So that I was like, thank God I don't have to organize. I already have enough stuff to dive through. But we will turn the page, and finally for real end the
Yeah.
video this
We're gonna
time.
end it?
Yeah, we're gonna end it.
You sure?
Yes. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the bonus topic at the end that Chris didn't expect, and I guess neither did I, and neither did the cameraman. But
And come out to the Frederick Comic Con.
Yeah, we'll
the
be there.
21st. Yeah. Come buy some books and support your.
we'll have
local...
lots of cool graded books that you can also see in Walkersville.
Totally. Yep. So maybe you'll see our bright shining faces.
I don't know. I may be tired. I may not be that bright.
You're
and shiny,
always tired.
I am always tired. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.